Hello, this is Lolly, and I just recently did a video showing what I picked up at Michael's, and it was for this project that I'm going to work on. I had, last year, I believe it was, I was watching My Serenity Crafts channel, and she was talking about these little tiny wooden, I think she made them into pins, that were Santa faces, and they were for making a bunch of and then giving them out as random acts of Christmas kindness. So this year she had a different project, and I will give you the link down below to her video and also the Facebook group where she is getting these files, because it's not her file. And so I'll give you that. And every year this generous soul in the Facebook group will post a file with instructions for making a bunch of little gifts that you can hand out as random acts of kindness. So last year, I didn't make the little thing. I used a bigger wooden piece, and no, it was 2016, so 2 years ago. So this is what I made by following My Serenity Crafts directions. Okay, so this year it uses these little 2.5 inch I started to say tongue depressors. They are pretty much, but they're popsicle sticks. So I'm using some wood glue, and this is my first one of these, so we'll see how this turns out. I'm not a tool painter, so I'm not great at this. So this is a 2-inch by, I think, 1.5 inch piece of paper. I'm going to line up with wood glue. I'm going to put these little popsicle sticks on there. There, that'll make sure they're even. Pushing them all together, and then this one is going to be, this is going to be a snowman, and this is going to be the brim of the snowman's hat. And she and the lady who did the instructions put the little hat brim at an angle. Now I can see, I'm going to get up that excess glue off of there. And I can see that the cardstock underneath seems to want to bow. So I'm going to put something on the top here, heavy, until this really dries. And I'm not sure how long this takes to dry, so I'll read the instructions there. Join mated surfaces snugly, clamp for 1 hour. So I'm sure I can paint it before an hour is up, but so what we're going to do is we're going to paint everything below this popsicle stick white, and then this and that will be black for his hat. I'm going to slide this over a little bit because it's a little more even. Okay, so I'm getting ready to paint this, and okay, and I have this folk art paint. It's a dark brown. I'm trying to find what the color is. Asphaltum. There we go. And some water. I'm just getting a little bit of brown paint on the tip here. I'm getting a little shading under the hat there. I'm getting it wet and doing that again. So the paintbrush is wet, and I only got brown paint on the long tip here. This just gives it a little weathered look. Okay, that's dry. Now I was going to do the cheeks, and her instructions had to use the red, and even though I water it down, I'm just not thrilled with the use of the red, so I'm going to try this little bit of this kind of pink color here and get a lot of water and see if I can tone it down. Basically, I just want that to be... Oh, I forgot to rinse my brush. Look at that. Let's just put a little of that pink in there. I want it to be really soupy here. And see if that's light enough, or is it too light for a cheek here? Probably too light there. It is, and I have, my brush is too big, and I was trying to find a good brush, and I never did find one that I was interested in, so this is what we've got for a cheek. It's too pale, maybe. I don't know. Let's go with it. I am going to use the end of my brush here to get 2 eyes on there. And then I'm going to do his smile like that. And we need a little carrot nose. And I bought new paints because so many of my paints are so old that they are really dried up and plugged up, and then you get big chunks of dried paint in the, or thicker paint in your work. So this is the spiced pumpkin. I'm out of room in my palette, so I'm just going to put a little dot there. A little bit of a curve on him, and I think I want this end to be a little rounded. And there we go. So his carrot is completely dried, but it's going to take the eyes a little bit longer just because they are, you know, so thick. But I still think if I'm careful, I can dot an eye, the little dot, you know, the little white twinkle on the eye with this. I have the 2 points here on my stylus. There we go. I think we can see the little dots there. Okay, now this is this snow writer. And there's a snow text writer as well from Deco Art. I already took the little plastic thing off on the inside. I just wanted to get a little bit of the snow here. I've never used this before, but I do have friends who have used it. Well, I use snow text anyway. This is really thick. Wow. I did take the little plastic out. Actually, what I should do is let this dry and give it the varnish first. Let me let this dry, and I'll give it this twinkles, or should I put the twinkles over this? It's a good question. I think I want the twinkles on this as well because it is snow, right? If I could ever get that out of there, that is such a fine tip. If you have just snow text, it would be, you would have to put it on with like a palette knife or something. It's like putting concrete on there, or cement, I mean. This is so hard to do. I tell you right now, with my hands as weak as they are, this is very difficult to do. And I want to get it on top of this brim too here, if I can. Wow, that's hard. Now, those of you who've used snow text before, I'd have to ask if you know, can I dilute this somehow? It's really hard to get out. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to let that dry. This says that dries in 2 to 3 hours, so that's a long time. I'm going to let that dry, and then I'm going to hit it with the sprinkles, and I'm going to glue some holly on there. In the meantime, I'm going to put that aside, and I had posted my Serenity Crafts video of this, and someone has suggested they wonder what it would look like as a gingerbread man. Well, that would be kind of hard just as a rectangle like this for a gingerbread man, because he's just too square, unless that's just his face, and then you're not going to have a hat. So what I was wondering, let's see if I can put this here so it has a little bit of contrast. I was wondering whether I could like offset it like this to be a gingerbread man body, and then that could be his arms across there, like that. You never know until you try, right? This would be sort of like his head, and then his legs kind of here. I could even make it more so, but then he looks even less chunky. I think I like the chunky look. So all I can do is try and let's see what that would look like again. So this is only, I'm going to do 1 inch by 2 inches on the cardstock. Now this says to let it, now okay, that's dry to touch, so I'm going to cheat and go ahead and do this on that right there. I'm going to use a floppy brush so that I can get all the little ridges that I want to get in there. Oh, this is so cute. I think this would look great on the gingerbread man too. Okay, well, when it's completely dry, I'll give you a close-up of it too. Now this says to dry what? It doesn't say how long it takes. Okay, let's rinse this out and we will come back. Okay, this one is completely dry and I love the shimmer. Okay, so what I'm going to do with this one is glue one of these little holly buttons by removing the shank like that. And this is a shank remover, so if you go to any kind of fabric store, you can pick up a shank remover by the button section. Just going to use a little E6000, glue that on there. I could also use the Better Ultimate adhesive. Okay, now that is so adorable. And then all I have to do when that dries is to glue one of these pin backs to it. This one, absolutely not fond of it all. So I went ahead and just put 4 together and painted them, and I thought I would just go ahead and use the tulip slick paint and go ahead and do a face and frosting on him. like he's a gingerbread man this way. Okay, so that's what he's going to look like. And then when he dries, I'm going to glue a bow on him. And I'm going to use this, which is this red and white gingham. So when he dries, I'll put that right down there. He'll be cute that way. I might put the glitter on him. We'll see. Okay, going to let him dry. Alrighty. And so I'm going to do two things here. I think I'll put my bar pin on this, and I'll put my clear glittery coat on this. I'm looking for the bar pins. So I like the adjustment, the little dial to be on the left side when I glue that on. Going to use the Better Ultimate adhesive, so you got to kind of prep this and that you put a thin coat. Oops, I just got it on my nails. And a thin coat here, and let that set for a minute before putting that on. Let's see if I can get this to stay upright before falling over somewhere. Okay, now I want to put the twinkle thing on this guy, and I like using the floppy brushes. Oh, so cute. I'm just spreading some of the glitter around. There we go. Now that's going to have to dry. I'm going to rinse this out quickly. And then when that's dry, I'm going to put this on him and possibly something else with that. We shall see. And push that down. Now, after this is dry, if some of the glue sticking out is still tacky, because that can happen since there's no a secondary surface to adhere that to, then I'll cover that with baby powder. Okay, time to let that dry. Okay, so let's get this on there, and I think I'm going to glue one of these on there as well, so I need my shank remover again. And this one I'm going to use the E6000, and I'm wondering about doing this at an angle. I think it'd be kind of cute that way. Now, earlier when I said I got some of the Better Ultimate adhesive on my fingernails, all you have to do is take vegetable oil to wipe off excess glue from your skin. And this is slightly tacky. It's been sitting here long enough that I know it's set. It's been an hour, so I can play with it, but I am going to put a little baby powder over the parts of the glue that are exposed. Okay. I'm going to put pressure on this. All right, this is dry, and I went ahead and put the pin back on there. Now I'm going to move this so that we can get this out of the way and show you how cute these are. Let me zoom in. There you go. Much, much better than this guy here. And I think one thing could have been done too if I had just frosted him differently and just tried to come up at an angle and down at an angle maybe. I just don't like this, the way he's shaped. But anyway, these two are so adorable. And look at that sparkle. Okay, make sure you look at the links down below. And I will give you the link to the Facebook group where this generous artist shares these projects and instructions and supply lists, and then also my Serenity Crafts channel where she does a video showing her using the instructions.